we are here today to do an energy forecast for the month of November and October coming up in front of us. So about for the next 8 weeks, what is an energy forecast? An energy forecast is just like a meteorological forecast. Basically, all of us individually are energy systems moving about on the earth, and then there we are bouncing into other energy systems. And so when we look at an energy update that's for us collectively, a little bit like in astrology, it's a little bit like the horoscope. It's basically just an overview. It can show us tendencies. It's not here to, again, like with Mercury retrograde, some of that might slip into this channeling today. But really, ultimately, you always go back to what you're feeling like or how you're feeling. If I say a certain week is going to have a period of low energy and you're buzzing through the roof, go with that. There is no right way to move with energy. So I wanted to look at October first because October is an amazing month for many reasons. The first, of course, is Halloween, which one of my favorite holidays. Of course, Halloween historically, as we know, is the day that the door between here and the other side is open. Costumes came from people dressing up because they were trying to just kind of blend with the ghouls, which I've always felt to be very cool. But it seems to be that one day of the year when we're really not all weirded out by the concept of death at the other side, zombies, monsters, all that. Not that I believe in those. What I'm saying is we tend to suspend our fears a little bit around that time of the year and embrace those slightly darker facets of who we are just a little bit more than usual. So when we break down this month of October, we look at the already basic kind of cycles that we have in the fall. I know that most people really love September and into October because we're moving and gliding back into those structures and systems, right? Like back to school, holidays are over, we're getting back to work. Again, there's a really great feeling with that time of year for many of us. The other thing to remember, however, this year is that there's not a lot of normality right now for a lot of us. Things aren't looking the same as they were, even if we are effectively going back to school. It still looks different, all of it. So when I had the kind of leading to do this channeling, I tried to sit down and contemplate it and think about what I was going to say or do a little research or something, try to come into it somewhat prepared. And they asked me to treat it just like a reading, which means I'm not supposed to get in the way. So the first 2 weeks of October thus far look to me, let's imagine a kind of a sliding scale of energy waves. I can see the first 2 weeks of October, all the energy waves really high. So what does that mean? It probably just means a whole lot more potentially going on in different areas of your life than usual. So maybe shift around with things shifting at work, in your job, things shifting at home, details being thrashed out. If you're refinancing, having to deal with paperwork. Now, when one looks at the fact that that's falling into alignment with what we call Mercury retrograde, probably doesn't seem to fit together, but here's what I'm saying. A period of high moving waves like that for us collectively, it tends to mean that's productivity. When you look at it, we have this mentality where we think of busyness and transformation and lots of stuff going on as we relate it automatically to stressful. And again, with the way things are right now, we are all dealing with extra stresses, even if we're just worried about what's going on in the world. What this doesn't mean to me is that these 2 first weeks are about just a lot of stuff happening to you. I would rather say it's about a lot of stuff happening for you and with you. So it's like you have a surfboard and you're watching and watching, and along comes this wave, right? You have a couple of choices, right? Kind of go down in the undertow and let things build up on you, or just have a look at the things you want to get cleared off your plate. I have this little clipboard and I'll just write down, I'll just pick three things that I've been procrastinating on, three things that, and those are usually the things that are the most time consuming and difficult. And I've been biting the bullet the last couple of days and working really hard to get at some of those things. So all I'm saying is this: if you don't get to them till the end of the month or next month, you know you aren't going to get to them in December. January is always nice and quiet. If you don't, that doesn't mean it's wrong or it won't work out okay when you do. What I'm saying is there's a wave of energy behind you right now. If you bite that bullet and start on that first task, you'll probably find yourself getting a great deal accomplished in that. Now, I think it's time for me to pick a card. One of the things probably none of you, maybe two of you, have ever seen me do in a reading is use a card. I like these cards. I love tarot cards. I love having them for myself. I have my favorite decks, of course. This is one of them because I really just like the artwork. And I like the messages. They're simple and not too deep. So I was given this feeling that I needed to pick a card for that period of time, and that is precisely what I'm going to do. And yes, I did turn 50. Ha! Ha ha! Renewing your life. So this is someone literally with a box of clutter, pushing it over the side of a cliff, which I wouldn't recommend that specifically, but I would say that relates to what we just spoke of. Basically, it is true that things represent energy, and things cluttered up around us represent energetic chaos. So if you can pick one closet or make that list of just the three top things don't have to be big things. Again, it's often the little things that absolutely drive us nuts that we are leaving. So there it is. The other thing is there's, I keep seeing bridges right in between the 10th and the 16th. And I realize next weekend is Thanksgiving. So you know those periods of time where you just maybe don't talk to family members for a while, and then Thanksgiving comes. It's like, all right, we can sit down and break some bread or some crusty rolls or whatever the case may be. That could be representing that. There's no doubt about it. Again, it will look different this year. There will be people who won't be going out for big dinners. There will be people who won't be gathering. It's all changing. So I still feel like the weekend after Thanksgiving and into the following weekend and the Sunday of the 17th, I just see that as also being a very ripe period to reach out and kind of do things you've been thinking about. If someone's been coming into your mind like 3 or 4 times, because we know that's the rule, something comes into your mind 3 or 4 times, it's a message. It's not just a random thought. Get a hold of them. Send that email, send that text, finish things up. It just feels like a very warm, receptive time to extend olive branches or receive them. So we're going to go into the 2nd to the 4th week of October right now. Halloween, candy, too much candy. What I feel like here is just the 3rd week, I feel this interesting lull. So in between the 17th and the 23rd, not a lot of dreams, not a lot of synchronicities happening, not a lot of messages. It's okay. Remember that analogy that there's summer holidays and then you're kind of stepping into this new grade? That's what it feels like. It just feels like a period of a little bit of energetic rest. Because when we get into that last week of October and the 1st week of November, here we go with an energetic high again. But it's different this time. This isn't about busyness, it's about spiritual happenings. It's about more coincidences, synchronicities, dreams increasing, all kinds of things moving up to the surface, you hearing voices have to tell you good things. If they don't tell you good things, we have to maybe look at that as either our ego trying to bring out some pain and some grief, some form of releasing, which is a part of every new cycle, or it's something very real that we're dealing with in our life, like, oh, I have to go deal with this with someone, and it's something we don't really want to do. What I'm saying is your inner voice, your inner first mate coming in there and nudging and sending messages up here to your captain, up to your mainframe. There's going to be a lot of that. So little intuitions, thoughts in your mind that you're not sure why they're there, feelings in your tummy that are just pulling you magnetically toward or pushing you away from things. And I see a lot of skeleton keys, which is a pretty cool kind of a symbol to see around that period of time. But when I see that, I want to remind you that keys, yes, are about opening and unlocking doors, and a skeleton key can open many doors. So as you can see, I love them. So think about where you might see those in your life. Think about watch for doors that are definitely opening spiritually. Also remember that keys are for locking doors behind us. And when we are dealing with more synchronicities and a lot more is going on, there's a lot more that we may need to kind of close a door on. Think about that into those periods of time. Now we're getting up there. This is getting to be a long video, so I want to wrap this up. I need to pull a card for November and talk about those last 3 weeks. And there, as we know, a good portion of that is going to be getting ready for Christmas, whatever that entails, kind of dealing with plans and getting things figured out. Remembrance Day, of course, there's always a solemn energy there. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is almost the exact same message. Simplify your life. And again, I think that's about closing those doors. There's literally a doorway behind her. So between the 7th and the 20th, I want you to remember this. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anyone your presence. You don't owe anyone your explanations about your choices. You don't owe anyone your time. I feel like I want to give all of you the message to practice selfness in these upcoming holidays. Practice selfness. Cut what you spend on Christmas in half. Just do it. Are people going to think you don't love them? Simplify. Simplify as much as possible. Buy local things and handmade things. And let's go back to simplicity. I think that's what that simplify message is. The 21st to the 27th, I see another spike in right brain activity, and this one's kind of big, and I can see all these colors splashing around. Like, you really want to watch for your profound creativities and idea maker. This part that's kind of planning for the future and developing concepts, downloading concepts to you, manifestation of things you've been thinking about. If you're creative, move with whatever you see is going on, because it feels like they're going to be giving us what I would just call some downloads in that period of time. And again, that might be times when you form ideas that you've been getting little bits and pieces of after, over the past few weeks, and then here we are, it's formed into a tangible concept, getting ripe for manifestation, probably into January and early February. So I should cut this off because, again, it's getting kind of long. I really want to thank all of you for listening today. All of this is meant to just give you some ideas about these waves and how they're ebbing and flowing, a little bit of understanding of what may or may not be going on with you. There's lots of times when our synchronicities and things decrease, and that's for a reason. We need time to focus on the processing and manifestation of these concepts in this physical realm. So thank you so much. I will see you again pretty shortly, I'm sure, at the very least, to do an update as we move into December and January. Have a wonderful day. Have a great Halloween. I know it's a few weeks off, but I'm excited. And I'll talk to you again really soon.